Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for visiting the channel once again. To all the new subscribers, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for your support. To all of you supporting me with the likes, very much appreciated. Thank you so much, guys. This channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. And that is why I make these videos. I make them because you guys give me some feedback. And so that kind of just signals to me like, hey, you know what? Keep making videos. Anyway, for those of you who aren't smashing that like button, make sure you do, man. It's a great way to support this channel. It's a great way to help me out. And we don't need to dive into, you know, the algorithm and all that stuff. It's just, besides that, I'm not here for the likes, but smash that like button, man. Support the channel. You know what I mean? I work really hard on these videos. Anyway, let's move on. Big thing coming up. We're doing a giveaway at the end of this week. You guys will see a post, and it's gonna be about the giveaway. So just look out for that post. Make sure you leave your likes on it. You leave a comment on it, because I'm going to be asking for a large amount of participation in order for this giveaway to happen. It's going to be based off a percentage of the subscribers that are currently on this channel. So if we had 100 subscribers, I might ask for 10%. So 10 of you guys. Can 10 of you guys smash that like button on that post? And if so, if we can get some kind of participation, we'll go ahead and we'll do this. We'll do a giveaway. So the giveaway, I'll tell you guys right now what it is. It's gonna be a rope. It's gonna have a climbing system on it. It's gonna be all matchy, and I think you guys will really like it. The person who receives the gift will most certainly be just like, wow, you know. It's nothing extraordinary, but it really is just beautiful. It's a nice little setup. So yeah, guys, keep your head out for that. And so let's move on right into this video. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of adding a directional redirect here. I know it's a lot of directional stuff going on, but look, hear me out. That sling there isn't usually for like just all my rigging. I kind of use it for several different reasons, but I don't always rig on it solely. I usually kind of just use that as a way to kind of build like a road of rope. I don't know. How do I explain that? It's just a redirect for the actual anchor point. It adds a little bit of friction. It's not really there as a friction type of redirect. It's not there for any real weight bearing or anything. It kind of just provides a direction for the rope. That way it goes directly to the porter app, and then the person at the porter app can kind of manage the rope a little bit better. How else can I explain it? I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how you would describe this. I'm kind of at a loss for words, but anyway, that is a redirect, and it is non-weight bearing. We're gonna head up a little bit higher before we actually add our main rigging point. And so there goes your 2 hands on a saw. Make those nice snap cuts. And you see right there, like, it's not this, the context of this situation, it doesn't call for a one-handed cut. It's not appropriate. It's just not. And if you're one-handed cutting in these situations where you can easily use two hands, you're just being reckless. So don't be reckless, man. Seriously, just build a little bit more discipline, and you'll figure it out. You'll get better and better as you do it. So the more often you do it, the more practice you have with it, the easier it becomes. And anyway, let's move on. So there's my main rigging point. Going to be using a swivel Rock Exotica pulley. That thing is bad to the bone. If you guys would just know the kind of abuse we put on that pulley with that whippy sling on it, I mean, just mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, picture one of those airhead candies. You see the guy with the head blowing off, and then you see the smoke. It's like an atomic bomb going off. Like, seriously, just to that level. Seriously, pushing our equipment to the limit within reason. We're not going to be pushing our equipment to the limit when the stakes are high. Maybe you've got an air compressor down below, you're working next to a house, got a fence, maybe there's a pool, maybe there's a pool filter. You kind of want to avoid that kind of stuff. You want to be a little safer then, play it safer, and make smaller cuts, right? Small cuts, small problem.
Stay clear.
Here, I don't know why. Okay. Alright, so yeah, this limb here is super long. So we're going to be cutting it about halfway. It's about halfway. And the only reason why I didn't cut it all the way to the bottom was because of its length and how the tip of it will smash the fence right over there. You see where that green bucket is? There's that fence. Okay. So yeah, you see that roping there? That is crispy. That's some crispy roping right there, man. For real. I think that was Johnny on the rope. Might have been Mike. Trying to see who it was. I think it was Johnny. I want to know who it was. Yeah, that looks like it was Johnny. So no surprise, really. Johnny's just he's an artist of his craft. He's got it so dialed in. Yeah, man, I really just appreciate his work. And so you see that there, we ran into a little bit of a problem. The way that's choked off the girth hitch there, it's choked off in a way that it's going to give me some issues when it's loaded. I don't know if you can tell how, but yeah. Yeah, I could have girth hitched it the other way. So, man, I wish I could just show you an example of that. But I don't feel like making no extra, like, little side videos of that, man. Let me know if you guys would like something like that, and I'll consider it for future videos. To make, like, a little side video to kind of explain what I'm talking about in a little bit more detail. It kind of harkens back to that idea of the basal anchor and how you want to have your knot loaded at all times, especially if you're using like a bowline knot. Obviously you're gonna have a bowline backed up. Any one of your knots, you just want them backed up, right, on a basal anchor. And so you want to have a load on that knot at all times. That way it's not sliding up the tree. You know what I mean? So when you put your load into it, you're not, you're not, it's just not going up the tree, you feel me? Yeah. Anyway, you guys just saw how absolutely insane that roping was. Johnny, man, he's just a savage. Wow. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Shout out to Johnny, man. Yep. So anyway, yeah, I was talking about that basal anchor and how you kind of want to have that not in tension at all times. But you see that redirect there that I placed? It's not in tension. The only way I could make it put it into tension is by spinning it to the right. So counterclockwise, exactly how it is now, but just spin it more clockwise, and then I'll put more tension into it. So hopefully that kind of brings forth the point a little bit further for you guys and kind of illustrates a little bit better. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna be roping down this branch. That's that Ring app in the background. Wonder who's home. Maybe my wife is home. And yeah, so we've got this nice smooth setup here. We're going just killing it here. Got Johnny on the ropes. Got the other guys. Don't want to forget about them either. Joe is busting his chops, getting all that material from the backyard to the chipper. He's just killing it, man. Freaking great machine operator. I mean, just Joe is such a solid machine operator. It's just nuts how good he is. Anyway, Mike also just on it, man. He's learning. At this point, he was new to the crew and fairly new to our style of working. So the way that we work is just like non-stop. You know, you beat down on the job. There's no stopping. We're not really into taking breaks, and it's not because we're against taking breaks. It's just that we're all on that same page, like that same level of determined to finish this thing as fast as we can. And it's not because we want to make more money for our boss or anything like that. It's just that we're in such an environment that kind of makes you want to do that. You know what I mean? So the company I was with here is a cutting edge seasonal maintenance. Shout out to Harry. just the incredible guy that's kind of leading this whole company here, and he just gives us so much flexibility, so much freedom to do almost what we please. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a piece of equipment that can make our jobs easier, we're probably going to get that piece of equipment. Not only in terms of equipment, but just the culture that is here just kind of makes you want to keep going. You just want to keep going and going. And yeah, you saw that there. That branch kind of almost ran away from me, figuratively speaking. I know, guys. Branches do not have feet. I mean, yeah. We're just gonna stay away from personifying trees. How's that? So moving forward here, great company, great culture, man. As with any other company, there might be some issues. There are issues, but not issues that couldn't be resolved. Get with a company that allows you to develop yourself, that kind of encourages it, develops you in a way that you feel like you're being developed. You know what I mean? Like here, man, I learned so much, especially from my man down there on the ground, Johnny, right? So, I mean, I have tons of experience, and usually, I'm the guy on a crew with the most experience. I might even be one of the youngest guys on the crew, and I have the most experience. But I live in such a way that I haven't learned everything, and I acknowledge that. And so that kind of humility allows you to grow and to learn from other people, even people with less experience than you. These guys here, man, they might have less experience than me, but they're badass. Goodness gracious. Good grief, man. For real, I've learned so much from them. Number one thing that I've learned from Johnny: do not cut through hinge. Do not cut through hinge. I mean, so we both know that, right? We both know that we should never cut through our hinges. There are times when we kind of do. There's times when it just kind of, you got to place it into context, right? So the context of the situation is going to beg for different things. It's going to demand sometimes that you cut through a part of your hinge, maybe through the right side of your hinge a little bit, and you kind of get that angled, that wedge looking hinge at the end. And it's not always cookie cutter perfect, right? That idea of not cutting through your hinge. But the main point is to trust the process, man, for real. I've seen guys out there who don't even use hinges, man. It is just it's crazy. Like, they just do undercut, top cut. There's no direction in their cut, and you can see how, in retrospect, after the branch comes down and everything, and it does its whole whatever in the air, you can see why a hinge would be, just necessary. And even when you're in the tree yourself and you should put a hinge in your cut, but you don't, or a notch in your cut and you don't use it, once you cut the thing and it goes, you're like, man, you know what? I probably should have notched that. That thing shouldn't have been peeled. It should have been notched. It would have had better direction. It would have actually even swung with more momentum, with the kind of momentum that I was expecting. So just things like that, man. So that's like one of the big things I learned with Johnny, man. And one of the other things that we were learning together was throw balling. So at this point in time where I'm at with throw balls is like I'm okay. I'm a pretty good shot. Like I'm pretty confident that I can throw the ball into most crotches, most. There are some that just, goodness gracious, what am I doing there? That wind is just taking these things. Yeah, see, I smartened up on this one. But yeah, that was a close call, that one branch that came close to the, I believe that is, I don't know. I want to say it is the motor side. Yeah, so that's the front end of the machine there, where that branch landed. So yeah, that is the motor end of it. So yeah, right here, we're doing that one-handed cut. And see, it turned out pretty good there, right? But the reason why I did that one-handed cut is because I wanted to push it with the other. I guess it was a two-handed cut, right? One hand on the branch, one hand on the saw. I remember I seen somebody say that, like, there was somebody like they're basically bragging about how, you know, they're so good at two-handed cutting, like using two hands on their saw, that they can blow people out of the water who use one hand. You know, they were like just like super cocky, and it was on a Facebook group. And there's a comment down below that's like, yeah, hell yeah. Well, I do use two hands on the cut I do employ two-handed cuts, basically, right? And then he's like, one hand on the branch, one hand on the saw. It had me rolling. I know I didn't say it funny. I'm such a dry guy, man. See, that's such a dry joke, right? I didn't even joke. Anyway, it was just really funny, man. But yeah. So yeah, there's a happy medium between putting two hands on the saw and using one hand on the saw and one hand to push or one hand to grab. You know what I mean? Like cutting and throwing kind of a deal. All of that stuff, man, it's so subjective, man. It's just kind of hard to really say that it's right or wrong. I don't think it's either. There's some hardline people who say like, no, absolutely not. And then there's others who are just like, yeah, I one hand cut too. But I'm not always one hand cutting. You know, I'm kind of like in that boat. So it's hard to disappoint you guys. There was a point at which where I was just totally obsessed with one hand cutting. This is around that time, but you can also see how I'm getting away from it as well. Not being so hardline on it. Alright, so what am I going to do? I think I'm going to do a half hitch tip tie here. Am I going to do the half hitch tip tie? I better. Oh yeah, good job. Perfect. Alright, so this is a tip tie here. And this is a variation of the tip tie where you use a half hitch, right? So I'm just going to spike this rope, that way it doesn't just fall through. Gonna cut some of this stuff. This thing will end up breaking, like after I send this top here. So I decided like, hey, you know what? Get rid of what's gonna end up breaking anyway. Kind of avoid any breaking the siding on that nice shed there. Especially, I mean, that was like my number one concern. And the top as well, right? So the top would be like super brittle. It's just like the ends of this tree. I mean, you guys know how ash is. It's very brittle. It's brittle when it's not dead. When it's dead, forget about it. It's a whole nother ball game. And I'm sorry to those of you who aren't familiar with like ash or anything. It's how can you, I don't know, somebody leave down in the comments below like how ash kind of is, like what type of wood it is, and kind of describe it. So like if I were to describe oak, like white oak, it would be stringy. It respects the notch usually. Like if you're gonna send something in one direction, like it's gonna respect the notch every single time, right? But that's not always the case for this kind of wood. So if anybody wants to go ahead and explain what ash is down for all the other viewers, be much appreciated. Here we go. Just getting rid of these guys that are gonna cause some collateral damage. And so here, I think what I'm doing is just collapsing the scissor boom. So there's, this machine has like, I think it's like probably like 9 different levers so that you can maneuver yourself up in the air. It is crazy. It is. All right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. I lied. So there's 7 different ways that you can move this machine. I mean, you have the possibilities for you to move yourself up in the air, position yourself. It's endless. Some might feel like the machine might be a hindrance or something, but it's really not, man. It's a great machine. It's so solid. I miss that machine. 90 feet, you can park that the machine about 25 feet away from where you're working and literally still have a nice drop zone below you. Like here, we haven't even telescoped out all the way. And another interesting part of the telescoping properties of this lift is that, well, you guys are gonna have to catch it on the next one, because that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for visiting the channel once again, and stay tuned for that post. It's gonna be at the end of this week, so as soon as you see this video, by Sunday it should be out. Look out for that post. Make sure you like it. Make sure you interact. Give me some feedback, guys. Until next time, y'all, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Climb high. Peace.